Hey, hey, hey. Hey, everyone. You know, I I know I'm starting out saying hey, everyone, and no one's really on yet. But, I always post the videos after we finish our live. So, it is a rainy Friday in Georgia. It's been raining most of the week, all different places. So, I actually was going to do this in the car because I'm going somewhere. I have somewhere to go in about 30 short minutes. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just jump in the camper before I leave and let's do our thing. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Camper Conversations. Yeah, let's go in. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome to my camper. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you guys had a great day. Hey, Nick. That's my nephew, guys. Hey, hope you guys had a great day. I had a really short week, like really short. Like it was a 4-day week, and I actually didn't work maybe any this week. Really, I think Wednesday I came in, but it's been a short week. It's been a good week. My nephew started football, so yay! We already in hype for that. Had to take him and get him checked out because he's having some really like bad nosebleeds out on the field. So, but he's good to go. He is good to go. He is going to be back on the field on Monday. So he is good to go. So, y'all, we're going to get right into this because like I said, I have somewhere to go this evening. So we're going to jump right into this. Nick, hey, baby. I love you. We're going to jump right into our camper conversation. So, y'all know that I like to take topics from things that come up during the week. Things that I see, things that have conversation about with other people, different people. But this post, I saw this post in my news feed during the week. And I have to be honest with y'all. It hit me in a personal way. A lot of, most of the things we discuss and talk about in our posts do hit me in a personal way. Some things are about me. Some things are not. Everything here is to help others. So it may be a topic that people send me because you all do send me things. You all send me memes and topics and things to talk about and things to post, the funny stuff, all of that stuff. So, this one I found. Let me say this. Let me start over because I have to say this. This is the disclaimer. This is my disclaimer every week. I am not a relationship expert. I do not claim to be in any type of way. I am just a black woman living this life and enjoying the hell out of it. Taking everything from it that I can, leaving behind what I don't need, and absorbing everything else. Alright? Okay. So, we're going to get started. Our subject, you guys, and I have to say I did a little warning, because this subject is going to be very sensitive to some people. Okay? It's going to be very sensitive to some people. I would love, love, love your input. I would love, love, love your experiences. If you'd like to share, that's great. If not, I totally, totally understand. So, hypersexuality. So, the post that I came across, I posted this like 19 hours ago, and it said, hypersexuality after sexual abuse isn't talked about enough. Hypersexuality after sexual abuse isn't talked about enough. There are certain subjects that we tend to shy away from, and we tend to and we do the hush hush on. And there's subjects and there are matters and situations and things that we've gone through in life and people have gone through in life that should not be swept under the rug. Now, granted, I understand everyone didn't grow up in an open household. Some people grew up in an open household. I shared with y'all before, I grew up in an open household. My mother talked very openly to us about sex, about wearing condoms, being safe, premarital sex, pregnancy. She was very open with us. And it wasn't one of those, conversations. She came to us real. We were able to laugh. I remember the day, y'all, that my mother taught my brothers how to put on a condom using a lamp. A lamp. She wasn't playing. She took the shade off the lamp, and she showed, and I remember that. So, this is a very sensitive subject for people. Sex in itself can be a very sensitive subject for people. But this one hit me hard, and I'm going to tell y'all why in a few minutes, why this hit me hard. So my statement on this, what I put on top of the post is, let me read it again. Hypersexuality after sexual abuse isn't talked about enough. I said in men and women. Sometimes he can't stick to one or can't even get enough because of his trauma. Sometimes she doesn't get that giving it up doesn't define love. So I looked up hypersexuality, guys. I looked it up. And the definition for hypersexuality is an obsession with sexual thoughts, urges, or behaviors that may cause distress or that negatively affects health, job, or relationships. Hypersexuality. Go ahead and look it up, y'all. So, sex is a very, very beautiful, loving, enjoyable thing in the right setting, between the right people. It is a very wonderful, it was something created, by God for us to go forth and replenish the earth. And some people look at it and say, oh, it's just to make babies or whatever. No. Sex is more than about just making babies. But sometimes sex is put in such a negative light for people that it gives them thoughts and puts them in the mindset of things that aren't healthy. So let's go with this. There are a large percentage of people who have been sexually abused, sexually assaulted. There's a large percentage, male and female. Being sexually assaulted is just not something that happens to women. It happens to men as well. Being abused as a child sexually is not something that just happens to women, to girls. It happens to boys as well. So this is the part, guys, because I'm not going to get deep into that, because we all have different traumas that kind of fashion who we are. But let me say this. I say this all the time. I used to say this all the time to my kids. And, we get the popular from New Jack City. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. So, am I my brother's keeper? I feel like I'm my brother's keeper. I feel like we were put on this earth to care for one another. And sometimes we drop the ball and we don't properly care for each other. And we mistreat each other and we neglect each other. And that does happen. And it causes traumas and it causes us to grow up and have negative thoughts. It causes us to grow up, hurt people. It causes us to grow up and do people wrong and do people in a certain way. So, to me, this kind of hit hard and heavy because, yes, I am the victim, or was, of sexual abuse at an early age. Now, this is information, honestly, y'all, that I have not shared. And this is not a moment where I'm sharing and I'm putting that out there. But I want to come from a direction of saying, you know what? Been there, done that, understand it. So, but what this is saying, hypersexuality, my thought process went to, you know how you got a brother that runs around and he's screwing every single person he can? He having sex with every woman he meet. He is like tallying up how much he got, who he can get, how much sex he can have. He's getting into relationships and it's all about sex for him. He's getting into relationships and all he wants is sex. Doesn't matter what he's leaving behind, what emotions he's tapped into with someone, and how he's making them feel. Does not matter. So, y'all, we call these brothers, everybody know a brother like this. We tend to call men dogs when they like that. Oh, you just trying to get as much as you can. And when the fellas get around and they network, I've learned and heard that, they talk about how much they getting and who they getting. They brag about it. Now, a lot of times, we say, okay, he just bragging because he ain't really getting nothing. But there are some people, there are some men that their goal, their purpose is to get as much pee as they can, and they don't care. There are some people that do that. There are some women, there are some young ladies who feel like if I have sex with him, then that's going to make him stay. If I have sex with him, then I'm going to be the one. If I have sex with him, that's going to show love. And that's how I feel that shows me that I'm loved. So when I say I'm my brother's keeper, y'all, this is where it goes into play at. We want to be mad at the brother who's trying to get all the pee. We want to be mad at the brother who's trying to go around and get as much sex as he possibly can, dropping draws, breaking hearts, and not caring and moving on. Am I my brother's keeper? Have you ever sat back and thought about why this brother is that way? Why he has done that? Now, mind you, I am not saying that every man that's running around sleeping with everybody has been a victim of sexual assault. I am not saying that. But what I am saying is this term hypersexuality, when I read it and I saw it and I looked it up, it just made sense to me to why I realized that some brothers, whether I know them personally or not, do this. Because when you're sexually assaulted, especially as a child, you know, it's confusing. And you don't know what this means or what this feeling is or why this person is doing this or whatever. And then you grow up and you don't get help for those situations and those things. And you end up almost doing the same thing, but pretty much in a legal way, so to speak. You finding people that you can have as much sex with as you want, as you think you can, and you do. So we calling these brothers dogs, and we like, oh, he don't care, he just doing this, and that. A lot of times, y'all, when people are doing certain actions and they're being boastful about it, and they just, you know, puffing their chest up and this and that. A lot of times it comes from a place of hurt and trauma. A lot of times it comes from a place of insecurity. Insecurity. When you hear somebody big up in themselves all the time, and I am this, and can't nobody do that, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A lot of times it comes from a place of insecurity. They want to appear that there's something, but they know in actuality they don't feel that way. They don't feel that way. So that female that we want to call a hoe, that the fellas want to call a hoe, because she going around and she's sleeping with all the guys and she sleep with everybody she meet, you know, she gets the reputation and she's being called a hoe. Do y'all ever sit back and think about why she's being promiscuous like she is? Why she's having sex like she is? And this is not a teenage, young situation, y'all. Like, there are grown, mature adults who still deal with hypersexuality. Porn addiction comes sometimes from hypersexuality. That's a symptom of hypersexuality. When someone watches porn all the time and they're addicted to porn and they gotta watch it and they want to watch it, and it affects their relationships, their jobs, it affects their lives on a whole. Hypersexuality, and they can't function unless they're having sex or watching sex or there's some type of sexual act going on. But am I my brother's keeper, y'all? We have to understand this comes from somewhere. This comes from somewhere. You know, again, sex is a wonderful thing. It's a pleasurable thing. We should enjoy it. It's made for us to enjoy. That's what it's for two to enjoy in a healthy situation. I can't tell everybody how. Some people are monogamous. Some people are polygamous. You know, whatever you choose, that's between you and your creator. But, so I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, between 2 and 2, 1 and 1. Me personally, that is my preference. That is my belief. But I'm not going to put that off on somebody else. What you do is between you and your God. But what I'm saying is sometimes people get in that mindset. They work in that lifestyle. They move in that lifestyle because they've been hurt. There's trauma behind it. They want to use it. Some men literally hate women. And because they hate women, they try to get as many women as they can. They go from this one and this one and this one and that one. And 1 minute they with this one and the next minute you see them with that one. And that's because a lot of times there is insecurity and there's trauma. And there's trauma, and that sexual trauma could have them, hey, I was hurt like this, so I'm going to hurt somebody else like this. So we get in the mindset of calling them dogs. We get in the mindset of saying that they not no good and they this and they that. And she's a hoe and she this and she that. She's that. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. I'm not going to say that we should accept this type of behavior. But what I am going to say is before we down somebody, we need to look at and understand. Where this may be coming from. We need to look at and understand, because everybody's not going to share with you, especially right off the bat, if they've had some sexual trauma and they're dealing with some hurt coming from that. You have to really, really trust somebody to share those type of things with them. And when you trust them and you share that with them, your prayer and your hope, of course, is that they don't use it against you. They don't put you in a situation where they use it against you. You know, you have some actions and some ways that you are and you deal with stuff, and they don't look at the fact that those traumas have happened to you. And they want to just say that you just, you know, you selfish and you this and you that. Sorry, y'all. So, there's so much more that can be said about this subject, y'all. But again, I'm not a professional on this. I just like to take subjects and things that come up during the week and for us to discuss it and for us to talk about it. But this point right here, this video, this live or whatever on hypersexuality is not me trying to necessarily school anybody or teach anybody what it is and what the problem can be behind it or whatever. This to me says, because this page is about relationships, dating, courting, marriage. And if you're dealing with some sexual trauma and you're treating someone wrong and bad because of your sexual trauma, please, please, please get help. It is never too late. If you're finding yourself addicted to porn and that's all you want to watch, and you know, you expect the person that you're with to live up to the expectations of what you see on the camera, please realize that that's not healthy and that's something that can be hurtful to the other person. But am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. We call these brothers dogs. We call them this and we call them that. But do we ever think about the trauma that this brother may have dealt with? Do we ever think about, was he molested? What makes him like this? What brings him to this point of being with that sister that's promiscuous and she feels like that giving her body up to someone is what shows love and what makes her feel special, and how she can keep someone? Instead of talking about them, let's engage in a conversation with them and look at why they may be that way. Why they may be that way. And please, 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 if you've been sexually abused at any point in your life, whether it was as a child, a teenager, as an adult, please get some counseling and help for yourself. Because the negative connotation that's been put over sex because of those situations and those things is not a way to live. And it's not a way that you have to live. Like, again, sex is an enjoyable thing, and it should be an enjoyable thing. And when we take that trauma into relationships, wow. So, you know, they say the top reasons for divorce is money and lack of communication. Money and lack of communication. sex is a big part of the communication, if y'all really think about it. So if you're having problems sexually with your mate, with your spouse or whatever in your relationship, and they're either selfish and they're not considering what you need and what you want out of this relationship on the sexual standpoint, it could be because they've dealt with some sexual trauma. It could possibly be. If they think one way is the way of doing things and, sexually that's all you can do and that's all you got, it could be that they're dealing with some sexual trauma. So instead of necessarily looking at ending the relationship, of course, unless you're being abused, I never advocate for anyone to stay in any situation if you're being abused. Never, never, never stay in a situation if you're being abused. But think about the things that may have happened to your mate early on before you even came into the picture. That could be causing them to be the way they are. That could be causing the sexual trauma. That could be causing the inadequacy in sex. Think about all of those things that could be harming and hurting that relationship and hurting them. So yeah, guys, I said this was going to be short. Not a favorite subject, but I kind of move on the topics that I feel like they kind of stick with me and this kind of stand out to me. And this was definitely one. And again, I looked at it in the area of how we treat people based on them being a certain way. The dude, that's the dog. No excuse. We don't excuse bad behavior. We don't excuse you being promiscuous just because you can and you're hurting people in the process. But we have to also realize why people may be doing what they're doing. Why they're hurting people. Hurt people. Why they continue to move from woman to woman to woman. Why they continue to move from man to man to man. I can almost guarantee. No, can't say almost and guarantee in the same sentence. I'm going to say this. I can guarantee that the brother that is hopping from woman to woman is sexually promiscuous and doesn't care, I can guarantee you it comes from a place of hurt. I can guarantee it. It comes from a place of hurt. It comes from a place of hurt. And men aren't as open and ready to share that hurt as much as women are and women do. Because of course the stigma of it that, oh man, why you tripping and what's wrong with that? And that's good. Because with men, I mean, society says the more sex you get, the more of a man you are. The more women you get, the more of a man you are. That's what society says. But what we don't realize, why society is saying that, these men are hurting. They are really, truly hurting underneath. But they've gotten to the point where they just don't even care because they've made it a lifestyle now. And this young lady who walking around and doing as many as she can because she feels like that's how she's loved, is coming from a place of hurt and coming from a place of trauma. So, let's think about it. Let's be considerate to one another. Let's remember, I am my brother's keeper. I am here to protect you, and you're supposed to be here to protect me. Granted, everybody doesn't think that way, and everyone doesn't act that way. So you have to be careful to who you give yourself to, meaning your mind, not your body. You have to be careful to who you allow in your inner circle. So who you allow to share things with. So take your time and develop those relationships and understand the people that you can give that information to that can be supportive of you. But please, 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 get some counseling, get some help. Don't think that in some type of way this is not affecting you. It may have been years since the situation may have happened. It may have been years. But I can guarantee you there's something going on in your life that resonates that abuse. that resonates why I treat people like this, that resonates why I got to get all the P, why I got to get all the women, that resonates why I feel like this is how I show love, and I need to show love, and I'm going to receive love. Hypersexuality. So, all right, y'all. So, I'm done. If y'all have some thoughts that y'all want to share, once the video is posted, please do. Please do. But I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate the ones that are going to watch. Usually after I post it, I can come back and see the insights. And there's usually a lot of views and people, because sometimes people like to take time to see things and watch on their own and make comments or even have thoughts. So you don't have to openly comment, especially on this subject, if you don't feel comfortable doing that. But please know that we are here for one another. The whole purpose of this page is to share our experiences, share our ups, our downs, our highs, our lows, to try to help someone have a better relationship than we've had, to try to help someone do a little bit better than we've done. I want you to do better than me. I want you to be happy as well as I am. So, all right, y'all, let's do that. All right, so I'm going to end this because I got to get going. I have a little bit of a drive. So I'm going to enjoy myself this evening. So y'all have a good evening. I love y'all. Make your comments if you like. Share it with somebody if you like. But just understand, hypersexuality usually comes from a place of trauma. And these are things that we don't want to talk about. These are things that we tend to shy away from. But that's important because there are people out there hurting. There are people out there hurting other people because they have been in situations, they have been abused, they have been taken advantage of, and they don't know any other way to do it. So, again, instead of calling that brother a dog right off the rip, understand him and try to see, maybe he has some sexual trauma early on. A porn addiction, maybe there's some maybe there's some abuse early on. All right, y'all. I'm going to go for real this time. Hey, Corey. Yeah, you missed it, but I'm getting ready to post it. So you can always watch and comment if you like. Love y'all. Be safe.